Welcome back to the Daily Close. And it's been a while since we've done a video. Missing our good old friend Gojo, but hopefully he'll be back soon. I think he's got some stuff to take care of, but he will make an appearance fairly soon, we believe.
Full trust.
For today, we have a TA video for you. There's lots happening in the market right now. Big movements, big swings. We'll be covering BTC, Bitcoin, ETH, and I will be covering Dogecoin today for all you Doge and Dogecoin lovers. But before we get into it, please remember that this is not financial advice. We're just amateur charters. Well, I am. I mean, Crypto-pleb and BASексD Buddha are a lot better than me. It's not financial advice. Please do your own research. And this is more for educational purposes. So let's get right to it. Let's start off with Bitcoin.
There we go. Let me jump into it here. So I'm going to share my screen. There we are. All right. So this is Bitcoin, it's US dollar. Actually, I'm going to kind of stick to how I like to usually do it with just taking a quick look over at the dominance chart here right now. And actually, I would say, so I'm on the weekly here. And I would say that we're actually seeing a bit of an uptick, a little bit more promising movements here on the weekly for, should we just get a tool here? We have a little bit of positivity coming up on this side here, at least for this week for dominance within BTC. And then if we go back over to BTC itself, obviously we see a very similar bullish pattern, obviously here and here on the weekly. And I mean, obviously, if you're looking at a wider time frame here, that might be more indicative of maybe a little more long-term movements. So I think this is at least an initial bullish sign just from the chart. If I were just to pull up a couple of, let me just move this little guy here. There we go. Just with a couple of arrays here. Obviously, we broke over some of the previous. So the resistance points coming up here. So next resistance point for the weekly as well. So I think maybe this week, next week might be some pivotal moments. But we start moving down on our timeline here as well. Just gonna make a little bit of space here. I'm still seeing it. Still seeing a little bit of positivity, at least in the previous few days here. This is on the daily chart now. And we're still, support that. Man, this is going to be quite a pivotal point here in the next couple of days. So I am hopeful in that sense. Also, if I were just to pull back up to my Ichimoku cloud here as well, as of course the white line is the baseline, the conversion line is my blue line. So the blue line has crossed up already on the daily, and we're also on the green here too. Some other indicators, you can't just rely only on one. There's others you can also move forward to as well. We do have a little bit of bullish green here, but you probably want to see a bit more. It could be a little sense of not very sure if this small little run is going to keep going, at least in the weekly daily charts. RSI is kind of pumping up to the top here as well. So because we're at the top, it is possible that it could draw back down just a bit, but we just have to pay attention to see how the market reacts. 4 hour, smaller charts here as well. These are, we're just saying that we were rejected back here about on the 21st, kind of consolidated down back again, and now we're trying again to crack them above. Whoops. And so I say, I would be bullish, but I wouldn't be surprised if I saw at least another bounce down. But if I were to trade on this, let me just open this up a bit more so it's easy to see. If we're to open above that, I would expect it to confirm a few more times before putting in some money. Otherwise, you might just see a quick draw back down, maybe back at to this level. I mean, that might be the lowest, but it might drop down, bounce around this level again. So I think there's some buying opportunities, there's money making opportunities. So yeah, that's my point on BTC. I say overall a bit bullish, good opportunities coming up. Play some monies, watch the charts, draw your lines, and follow your own rules. You might be able to make some money here. But that's BTC.
All right, cool.
Go ahead, BASXD Buddha, take the stage.
Thank you. Thank you. Right, so I'm just gonna hop in here and show you guys what I'm looking at for Ethereum. So can you hear me?
Yeah.
Loud and clear.
Perfect. There's a lot to say about Ethereum. There's a lot to say about, I think, the market right now as well. I know BTC is, as Crypto-pleb said, kind of just hanging in there around the 50K mark. But a lot of the alts are actually bleeding. And ETH, I would say, is actually more on the positive end. And I was looking at this earlier, and I'm quite happy with it, because what I didn't notice is if you go on, say, like the daily chart for Ethereum, right? We had an all-time high back in May. This is about 4,383. But if you look on the weekly, the candle close for the weekly was actually higher than the previous high back in May. So, I mean, interpret that as you will. But I typically like to trade with confirmations and kind of closes. So I think that's actually more bullish in my opinion. But as you can see, the weekly is looking quite positive. The actual market structure, right? We have a high here, a low, but also, as I mentioned, a candle close that's technically higher than the previous high. So that's positive. The stock RSI is looking quite, it's on more of the bullish territory, and it's looking good. It's looking good. In terms of the more specifics, I think it's better to look at a lower time frame like the daily. So I'm not going to chart any support lines here. But if we look at the daily, it's kind of we're kind of in a position where we can go either way, to be honest. You could even see this area as more of a range. I'm gonna use my parallel channel real quickly. You can see, I mean, if you go with the previous, hold on, let me zoom in a bit. Previous price action back in August, and you want to chart it from here. You can see that, oops, that is not clean. Let me redo that actually. Hold on a second. So again, if you want to look at, why does it keep doing that?
Oh, good, man. Oh, good.
The
magnet was on. The magnet.
The
trading view
was
got you
on.
this time, man. Like, it got you.
God damn it. Oh, okay. All right. It's a little sloppy, but if you're looking at this as more sort of a range, I think we're trading on more of the upper end, top end here. And so you can consider these the ones that stick out as more of a deviation. But yeah, we did have Ethereum go quite low. I remember a few weeks ago, a few weeks ago, when I was talking about Ethereum, I said that it was actually going to trade around the 3,000 range. It actually did go below that, much more further below that, to about 2,760. So it went lower than expected. But that doesn't say that this is super bearish or anything. Again, we are on the higher end of the actual range now. And if we look at the stochastics, we'll see that, yes, we're in the bullish territory. It is pointing, at least the blue line is pointing downward. The purple line is already turned. So we're probably going to get some price action towards the downside, but doubtful that it'll go as low as 27 or 2,800 again. If we look at the BBWP, then we see that it's expanding. So that's to say that it's going to continue. It'll have more of a volatile reaction to the price. So it's potential that it will go down much stronger with more momentum, more volatility. And with the EMAs, we are looking at it. It's looking quite bullish. We are above all EMAs on the daily, so that's very good. And as long as we stay, I think above the 55, we'll be fine. And one thing to look at when you look at this type of chart, I'm just gonna remove this real quickly. Is, you know, if you don't know what sort of direction or trend it has at the moment, one way to look at it is if you just invert the actual chart with Alt I, you can actually, it gives you sort of a different perspective, and you'll see that let's get EMAs, for example. If it's looking like it's going down, then, you know, because it's inverted, it's basically bullish. And this is sort of the case that we have here, right? We have in some sense, let me change real quickly to a horizontal line. This is more of a rising wedge, if you would call it. I mean, consider this one. You can look at this low here, but if you take it from here to where we're going right now, basically, we have a strong foundation up here. And because it's inverted, obviously, it's going the opposite way. But I would say that this is looking like it's going to go south, which is bullish. Let me just reinvert it again, just so it makes more sense. So yeah, I think Ethereum's looking good on the daily. And if you go down to more of a short-term time frame, I think this is a great market to trade in if you're swing trading. One strategy I like to look at is a 21 EMA, and maybe more for the 4 hour. If you're above the 21 EMA, then obviously it's bullish. So I mean, you could have gotten a trade here on September 30th and rode it up here to about 35. And basically, yeah, if you were to just trade on the opposite side every time the 21 EMA crosses, then you have a good short entry or a good long entry. And right now it's looking quite positive. On the 4 hour, you see that it's still in the bullish territory for the stochastics, and it's pointing upwards. For the BBWP, it's on the bottom end, so that means that it's going to continue its trend, which is right now going upward. And that's that for the 4 hour. I know I just changed time frames. I'll go back to the 1 hour and maybe we'll look at something like a 15. For all you people who like to day trade. So one other thing I like to look at for day trading is, I mean, if you're going to do something on a 15 minute, you see that the actual price action is respecting the pivot lines of quite well. And if you were trading based on pivot lines and stochastics, then you can get some great entries here. For example, like if you were on the looking at stochastics, you know, on the overbought territory, you'll see that the stochastic is pointing downward. It's actually being rejected here on the pivot line, or the resistance pivot line, and then it goes all the way south on the stochastics, and you can just I've carried that on to here, and depending on your time frame, I mean, if you wanted to actually get confluence with this on the 45 minute, for example, you'll see that it continues to go south. So I think we're just looking at this October 6th. Was it October 6th? This was October 6th, right? So if you look at the 15, let me, hold on. Let me do some more detail. So if you're looking at the 15 minute, top of the stochastics, you'll see that it does climb up back to the overbought area once again, then comes back to the bottom to the oversold area. And if you want to actually know the best exit when you're day trading, then you can check on the 45 minute, and you see that here, October 6th, it's at the top of the overbought area, stochastics. And when it reaches the bottom, this is the best time to exit, which is, let's say October 6th at 1800. Is exactly the second time it goes on the bottom right here. So what it ends up doing is it dismisses this overbought time, and then you actually have a perfect exit here. So if you're looking at both charts at the same time, this would have gotten you a good exit and good entry and good exit. So I would highly recommend using different time frames for confluence. So yeah, I might have spoken a bit too much, but basically I'm super bullish on Ethereum. I think it's trading quite well. And as I mentioned on the weekly, I didn't notice this till earlier today, but I mean, for it to have actually closed above the previous high, I think is pretty bullish. So not to mention all the good fundamental news about Ethereum, I'd say it has a lot of potential to keep going higher in October and Q4. So yeah, that's it from me.
That's nice. People have been talking about the Q4 coming up. So, I mean, it's going to be a bullish Q4. Let's see it.
Excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. Cool. All right. So we've covered BTC, ETH, the two big plays in the market. I want to cover something that has, you know, been a sort of hedge in the market when things aren't going so well. And on days like today, on days like today, where you see the general market is down, the only thing that is up really is Bitcoin and Ethereum. You know, hedges like Dogecoin, we've seen a massive pump in Shiba coin as well, but I feel like Doge is something that's a little bit more established. It's the original meme of the crypto society. So I'm going to go over Doge right now. Let me share my screen. Okay, should be this one. Can you see? See Doge? Okay, great. So I'm going to start off on the high time frames as usual and work down. I might switch between the different time frames as we go along to explain something a little bit more clearly. But from what I'm seeing on the weekly right now, this looks pretty good. I wouldn't be overly bullish on something like this, but you can see that we're forming a sort of bottom here on the weekly. So this is, bear in mind, a very high time frame, and things don't really play out within days. It's more like 2, 3, 4 weeks down the line that you'll see things play out on the weekly. But we are forming, we made a low here, we made another low here, so we're making lower lows. We are also forming low highs as well. So if we can take out this high in the weekly, which is around 34 cents right now, I would look at a run up, not just to this previous high here, which was 37, but we'd be going back up to 50, 55, 50, 60 cents if we do manage to break these highs here as well. So on the long-term time frames, market structure, I would like to see us move up to these highs, and if we don't break it, then we'll probably come back down to around 31 cents if we can't break 34, 35. But on the indicators, we've got some hidden bullish divergence playing out on the weekly, which is nice to see. But 1, 2, 3, 4 drivers of potentially 4 drivers of hidden bullish divergence playing out right now, which is nice. I'm not sure if you can see that very clearly, but the volume down here is slowly coming up. We've still got 4 days and 12 hours on this candle close. Sorry, on this candle. But I do expect the volume to move up again, since we've already broken the last week's volume. The stock RSI is looking pretty good. As long as we close anywhere here or above, we'll have a cross on the weekly stochastic, which is always a good sign. Volatility is coming down. We're trading, sorry, no, we're not trading. Volatility is below the EMA right now, so I would like to see this move up as price moves up for Confluence. So that's it on the weekly. Let's check on the daily time frame. So I think as we move down, we're going to see a different story, a different narrative playing out for these coins. But also on the daily, you can see we've had a sort of accumulation phase right here. We had this massive run up to around 60, 69, 70, 75 cents. And now we've had this massive accumulation phase. And the question is Doge ready to break out now? I think there are signs that are pointing towards a breakout is imminent. You can see that we've retested this sort of, if I draw my horizontal ray here, we've kind of come down and test. We've held this support pretty nicely. Again, we had some accumulation down on the floor here. The question is, are we ready to break out? We are seeing a little bit of an increase in volume. Nothing significant, but nevertheless, that's a good sign. We've had some recent regular bullish divergence, which I think has already played out. The stock RSI is on the ceiling right now, but during bull markets, I think I've mentioned this before, you can't really use the stock RSI as a accurate indicator by itself. So this can remain up here for a while. You can see previously, it was basically at the ceiling from 23rd of July to the 1st of August. So it was overbought for just over a week here. So don't just look at the stochastic. Use it with other indicators to find confluence. Again, with the BBWP, which shows volatility, we are getting above the EMA, which is nice. We're getting a nice uptick in volatility along with price, which is something that I like to see if we are going to move up. I think if we're able to close here, you can see we had a sort of mini consolidation around here. If we're able to close daily candles above here, I would look for a move up to around previous highs. So it's a 33% move from 25 cents where we are now to about 30, 33, 34 cents. And then further, if we are able to break that with some nice volume. Let's put on some, let's see what the VPVR is saying. So this basically tells us where there has been most volume at a current price range. Let me just get rid of this horizontal ray. So this red line here is the POC, the point of control. And you can see that on this chart right now, well, the point of control, if we scroll all the way back, is right down when we were below 1 cent. But if we just use this for this area of the chart specifically, we see that most of the volume has been traded around 31, 32 cents. So I would expect, another test of this relatively soon, maybe in the next week or two. If we are able to break that, I would put targets up to around somewhere in between, where are we? Somewhere in between 42 cents and 48 cents. So for those looking to swing trade, there could be a good setup for a long. If you're a breakout trader, I would wait for the breakout of this sort of point of control and these highs here at 33, and then potentially enter a long up to about 42. As I mentioned, 42 cents to 45 cents, 47 cents or so. So that's it for the daily. Let's see what the EMAs is saying right here. You can see we are getting rejected a little bit on the daily 200 simple. Yeah, I mean, this is in line with the consolidation we've had here. So I don't expect this to break easily, but if we do, which is, I mean, the volume saying that, there is enough volume there to actually break through. It's whether we do actually start closing above that and confirming closes above that is when I would say that we'd make a move up to, 34 cents. Okay, and then let's go to the 4 hour. The 4 hour is looking pretty bullish, actually. We have closed, or we did close a 4 hourly candle above the previous consolidation area here. We are consolidating a little bit again, but look at the volume on this run up here. And this is something that I like to see on the 4 hour specifically. A little bit of bearish divergence, which yeah, it's played out. Again, it's rejected the sort of dipping under the bullish control zone, which is always a good sign. And do we have a trend line here? Let me see if I can. Do you have a trend line going on here? Well, we kind of have a trend line. As long as you don't break down here, as long as you don't break this trend line and then fall below the 50 mark, you know, I'd remain relatively bullish on Doge on the 4-hour. Stokes suggests that we do come down a little bit more, or at least consolidate in this area a little bit more before making a move back up. BBWP has made a move up to 95%. 95%, 100% is what you want to see for big movements like this. Potentially stay there for a little longer before coming back down, and then accumulating and consolidating a little bit. So 4-hourly, you know, I would wait for a break above, a break and confirmation above. I mean, even if we trade above 26 cents, you know, I'd say that we'd probably see a move up. Maybe it's about 30 cents or so. Let's see what the yeah, I mean, we're trading above all moving averages here, which is bullish. I'm not going to be bearish on something that trades above all moving averages. We do still have 2 hours and 55 minutes for the 4-hour close right here, so we'd have to wait for confirmation. If we're looking at the volume profile again, it is consolidating in this area of high volume right now. You can even call this a range here. You know, if I just mark out these levels, you know, we've got your highs here, and we have, you know, the lows down here. So this is the sort of range that we're looking at right now. Now, where would I start to get a little bit more bearish on this on the 4-hour? Anywhere below 23 cents, 23.6 cents. I'd start looking for moves back down to around 2021. And then if we fail to hold that area, most likely we'll test the bottom of the range again, which is around 20 cents. Other than that, that's it for Doge. Interesting to see how it's been performing quite well compared to a lot of the other alts, excluding Bitcoin and ETH. But yeah, that's my analysis on Doge, and I hope you found that helpful.
Love it, man. Love it. You still make money here. Still only imagine people who got in way early and got the glory that Doge was once at months ago.
Yeah, no, I think Doge has always been a hedge, you know, against the market when the market's looking bad. For some reason, people like to go into Doge. I don't know why, but that's just
Fundamentally
sort of
a strong technical
the narrative
asset
that's played out. Yeah, so we covered 3 coins today: Bitcoin, ETH, and Doge. Again, we'll try our best to get back to you in the comments. So please drop a comment if you want us to cover a specific project. We have been pretty busy with our personal lives and individually, so we'll try our best to get back to you as soon as possible. As always, leave a like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. We will be posting more regularly from now, and hopefully we'll have a video out for you maybe by the end of this week, Monday by the latest. That's JST. We are based in Tokyo here. Sorry about that. I just kind of doxed us a little bit, but you can tell by BASXD Buddha's background that we are in fact based in Tokyo. Yes. So yeah, do all the good stuff. Leave a like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, leave a comment, and remember that this is not financial advice. So have fun, and we'll see you in the next video.
May the pump be with you. Keep it up, lads.
Thank you.
May the pump be with you.